Imagine a future Prime Minister of Canada, not from the usual political ranks, but born in a remote northern territory who once played backup goalie for Harvard's varsity ice hockey team. Mark Carney's path is anything but conventional. He graduates magna cum laude from Harvard, then heads to Oxford earning both a master's and a doctorate in economics. This early life, balancing rigorous academic pursuits with competitive sports, hints at the discipline and strategic thinking that define his later career. Carney then dives into the high-stakes world of investment banking, spending 13 years at Goldman Sachs. He works across continents: Boston, London, New York, Tokyo, Toronto, climbing the ranks to managing director. Yet in 2003, he makes a surprising pivot, leaving the private sector for public service, joining the Bank of Canada as a deputy governor. Just 1 year later, he steps into the Department of Finance, marking a clear trajectory toward national economic stewardship. His ascent culminates in 2008 when he becomes the governor of the Bank of Canada, the youngest central bank chief among G8 nations. This timing is critical. The world is plunging into a global financial crisis. Carney's decisive actions, like cutting interest rates by 50 basis points and implementing a conditional commitment to hold rates low, shield Canada from the worst of the fallout. Canada's economy outshines its G7 peers, recovering GDP and employment to pre-crisis levels faster than most. His leadership earns him international acclaim, recognized as a top global influencer by publications like the Financial Times and Time magazine. Carney's reputation as a crisis manager extends globally. In 2011, he takes on the demanding role of chairman of the Financial Stability Board, coordinating international financial regulatory authorities. Then, in a truly unprecedented move, he becomes the first non-Briton to be appointed governor of the Bank of England in 2013. There, he navigates the complexities of Brexit and the initial economic shocks of the COVID-19 pandemic, cementing his status as a leading figure in global finance. After 7 years at the helm of the Bank of England, Carney shifts his focus dramatically. He joins Brookfield Asset Management, leading their environmental, social, and governance (ESG) and impact investing strategy. Concurrently, United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres appoints him as his special envoy on climate action and finance. He co-chairs the Glasgow Financial Alliance for Net Zero, demonstrating his deep commitment to transitioning to a sustainable, low-carbon economy. This period shows a clear evolution from traditional finance to impactful global policy. Despite his high-profile international roles, a return to Canadian politics always seems to hover. Carney reveals he declined an offer from then-Prime Minister Stephen Harper in 2012 to become finance minister, feeling it wasn't appropriate to jump directly from central banking to elected politics. However, the connection to Ottawa remains strong. He informally advises Justin Trudeau during the COVID-19 pandemic, and in late 2024, Trudeau appoints him chair of the Liberal Party's Economic Growth Task Force, a clear signal of his growing political engagement. Then, in January 2025, the political landscape shifts dramatically with Justin Trudeau's resignation. Carney wastes no time announcing his bid for the Liberal Party leadership. His campaign quickly gains momentum, raising substantial funds and securing widespread caucus endorsements. In March, he clinches a stunning landslide victory on the first ballot, surpassing Trudeau's own margin and winning every single electoral district. This decisive win instantly positions him as the next Prime Minister. Just 5 days after his leadership win, Mark Carney is sworn in as Canada's 24th Prime Minister. He marks several firsts: the first Canadian Prime Minister born in a territory, the second with a PhD, and the first since John Turner to take office without holding a seat in the House of Commons. His very first act as Prime Minister is a bold one: a directive to end the consumer carbon tax. He swiftly calls a federal election, leading the Liberal Party to a minority government and winning his own seat in Nepean, representing an Ottawa area riding for the first time since John A. Macdonald in the 1880s. As Canada's new Prime Minister, Carney is now poised to shape the country's G7 agenda. He wastes no time engaging on the global stage, meeting with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer and King Charles III. His commitment to global defense is clear, pledging to meet NATO's 2% GDP spending target by 2030. In the face of increasing U.S. trade tensions, Carney also signals a desire to deepen relationships with fellow Commonwealth countries such as Britain, Australia, and New Zealand, hinting at a strategic recalibration of Canada's international partnerships within the G7 and beyond. Carney's economic philosophy, honed through years in central banking, now guides his premiership. He reverses the previous capital gains tax increase, promising middle-class tax cuts and a new budgeting approach focused on savings. On climate, he advocates for a cleaner oil industry rather than solely focusing on individual lifestyle changes. He proposes replacing the consumer carbon tax with green incentives for individuals, while still taxing large industrial emitters and introducing a carbon border adjustment for high-polluting imports. His vision for housing emphasizes densification over sprawl, promoting policies like eliminating unit maxima and allowing taller buildings near transit. Beyond the high-profile roles and complex policies, Carney is a man of diverse interests. He is a passionate fan of Everton FC, the Edmonton Oilers, and the Edmonton Elks. He's also a marathon runner, completing the London Marathon in an impressive 3 hours and 31 minutes. Perhaps most notably, he renounces his Irish and British citizenships shortly before becoming Prime Minister, a symbolic gesture affirming his singular commitment to Canada. This deep dive into his personal life reveals a multifaceted leader. His journey from ice rinks and academic halls to the highest office in Canada is anything but ordinary.